Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Paul and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boyz who take the lead.
Ball chat. Greetings, football lovers. Well, greetings, sports fans. Not just football. Welcome to BCN Sports Halftime. My name is Benton. September 3rd, 2025, BCN Halftime Sports, along with the family. George, election day, football are going, cricket are going. How are you doing, family?
Well, everything good, and hopefully, like you brought up and rightfully so, it's election day in Jamaica. I think Guyana as well, right? I think Guyana has.
I think I saw they were heading to the polls. What about the early voting I had?
Who?
I mean, for those who, well, I mean, military personnel and police officers voted already. Because you have to work the night of the election or day of election.
Good for them.
Yeah, so that would be early voting.
Yeah. So hopefully, I think for me, my major thing is I hope that everybody stays safe, and I hope that we know how the history of politics and elections and them something go on in Jamaica. Sometimes it get rough, right? So I really hope the people out there stay good. I don't even know why. See, we start talk about election and Facebook start burn me out.
All right, on the sporting front, or the sport front, Caribbean cricket CPL T20 game going on. We'll keep you updated on that game. Trinbago Knight Riders versus St Lucia Kings. Currently 105 for 9. Trinbago Knight Riders. The St Lucia Kings, feeling good about themselves as two big teams. It's a huge game in the CPL. Defending champs, St Lucia Kings. The Trinbago Knight Riders, the big dog with Andre Russell, Kieran Pollard, Nicholas Poran, and the Yam Liquor. So we'll keep you guys updated on this particular game. This is a call-in show, so football family, our sports fans can call in. We'll discuss World Cup qualifiers. Reggae Boyz World Cup qualifiers coming up against Bermuda and Trinidad and Tobago. Will focus more so on the Bermuda game and look at other CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers coming up and the path forward for World Cup 2026 for CONCACAF final round. Junior, you excited?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even check to see if the things we're hearing has become common knowledge as yet. And that kind of pushed me down a little bit with some of the stuff we hear coming out within the team and who is available or who not available and blah blah blah.
What exactly did you hear? What did your sources tell you?
I don't know. What did the sources tell us, Benton?
We'll discuss injuries and players in. Jamai Topi in to the team. Jamai Topi said he's surprised to get a call up because a long time what did he say? He said Jamai Topi said that he's a bit surprised to get the call up because he's just returning from a meniscus injury. So we'll discuss the Reggae Boyz and upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Yeah, Bermuda, man, them a play a soup. But even Junior can run out. I mean, we also have a recap of transfer market, transfer news, final thoughts on that that window getting shut in the transfer space. Junior, I think you're ball over Crystal Palace. Mark Guehi is still trying to find a way to get himself out of Palace.
and if I kick off with that, it is very unfortunate. And sorry to the Facebook people. We are live on I Am Jamaica, but for some reason our Ball Chat Facebook page restream refuses to connect to it. So I don't know what's going on. But yes, so transfer market. I think there's a lot of hypocrisy that goes on in the transfer market with the pundit space. And if it's one thing about shows like BCN Sports, and you have some other content creators out there, they try to. We have our objective thinking, objective thoughts, but there's no agenda. We don't have an agenda. We don't meet up and say, this week we're going to push this topic, and this week we're going to push this angle and try to generate crowd reaction this way, blah, 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 blah. We don't do that. I think in certain big British media or in certain medium, ESPN included, they push agendas, and I hate that. I really hate that. And case in point, for the whole pre-transfer deadline day, there was an anti-Isaac movement, right? There was an anti-player power movement. There was an the player has the power, and Isaac is wrong for what he's doing to Newcastle, and all the pundits them came out and this is not right, and you're not treating the players fairly, blah, 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 right? And as soon as the transfer market closes, now it becomes, wow, look at how Crystal Palace treat Gueye. Gueye is the only one who didn't force himself out, and he's the only one stuck at his club. This is not fair. This is not right. This is Michael Owen come out and putting out a post about that, about showing how the players them that were disgruntled and showed how disgruntled they are. They got their move, but Gueye didn't get his move. And I don't like that hypocrisy. I don't like how they push rhetoric out there. That's why people need to, I say other big shows out there, I'm going to call them small media shows, are new media. Because BCN Sports is a new media. We represent the new media. We represent the voice of the new media. They are pushing that old media need to die, and I'm starting to agree with it because I don't like that rhetoric. I really hate that rhetoric. Gueye got the move, was on his way to do his medical, and then Crystal Palace linking back and say, yo, hey, come back. Nope, we're not doing this. Blah, blah, blah. Very similar to Nicholas Jackson. Very similar. But guess what? Nicholas Jackson is at Bayern Munich, and Gueye is still the captain at Crystal Palace. How does the player feel at that point? How the fans feel at that point? How the Crystal Palace fans feel at that point? On the weekend, you scored against Aston Villa. You everything feel good. You had the video with Henderson pushing the goalkeeper, Henderson pushing Gueye to the fans and like pushing him, and basically people hinted that Henderson was trying to encourage him to give a farewell to the fans. That was a rhetoric that was being sold at the time. And he never want clap at him, and him whatever. Cool. Get over it. And then now, the next Crystal Palace game, Gueye more likely will still be wearing that shirt. How does this affect the player? I don't like it. And I don't like what the media is doing.
We're just doing the show preview and the things on the topic, on the plate or the topic agenda, and Junior, it's almost like it started with transfer news. I mean, we were just talking about.
What are you asked?
Hey, when we get to transfer stories, how about you remind us of your gripe again with traditional media and this Mark Gueye situation. So, transfer news recap, CPL update, Reggae Boyz World Cup qualifiers preview. We have an NFL insider joining us at 8:50 around 9 o'clock. NFL season kicking off here Yeah, the American sport kicking off tomorrow, big. So those of us who watch it we'll dedicate about 10-15 minutes. Marcus will join us. He will give us his NFL breakdown and outlook, and hopefully this is the year the Atlanta Falcons win a Super Bowl. That's the only thing I want to hear. All right, so in the meantime and in between time, we're just going to go ahead and update you on the score update regarding the CPL action. Trinbago Knight Riders all out for 109 in their 18 overs. Junior, I mean, this should be an easily attainable score by defending champ St Lucia Kings. I mean, moisture will be a factor. The dew on the grass down there in Taruba, Trinidad, is quite wet, and so the bowlers will have the Trinbago Knight Riders bowlers will have problems, gripping and holding on to that ball. So this should be attainable. 109.
Yeah, easy money, and for such a big game, that's a disappointing score and a disappointing end. I am going to predict that St Lucia Kings should knock this off quickly. And which, like I said, is disappointing.
Big up BM. You know what? I will say this, Junior. I think it's a very good game from the vantage point. The bowlers turned up for St. Lucia Kings. They won the toss. I think I remember. They won the toss and they decided to bowl. And their bowlers turned up. And, one thing that is readily apparent in T20 cricket, yam lickers get exposed with any sort of decent turn. And Karen Pollard and Andre Russell both were bowled by spin bowlers straight down the middle. And the funny thing about this is that the man bowled Karen Pollard, and I tell him told Karen Pollard while he walked off the pitch that he needs to play straight. He needs to play straight. This is the level of comedy and trolling, as the kids would call it, in this game. There's a very friendly rivalry, but score on the board is better than score that needs to be made, right? Something on the board is better than something that not make yet.
If you're trying to psych yourself up for a run chase, I guess, but no. 109 runs is nothing in 20. You just need to run a ball. And finally, we got bowling in some T20 cricket. All right, let's get to the transfer news roundup. So, you spoke about the Mark Guay scenario and situation, the deal collapse. Oliver Glasner and Crystal Palace fans should be excited. By the way, we also need to touch this topic to Junior when we get to the international window discussion. Lionel Scaloni of Argentina almost tearful discussing that Lionel Messi might be playing his last game for Argentina tomorrow. We'll discuss that. And of course, we'll discuss Inter Miami, Luis Suarez, and the ultimate sore loser behavior after they lost that game, that final against Seattle Sounders. Now to the Guehi situation. You mentioned earlier about the media, the coverage, but what exactly happened? I mean, did Crystal Palace change their mind at the last minute? Fill us in on what exactly happened. It's more like teams posturing and waiting till the last second to complete a deal. And Glasgow, I think, is on record for saying that there's a report out that he stormed in with the Crystal Palace brass, warned them that he's going to quit if they didn't get a replacement for Guehi, adequate replacement for Guehi. And I think the player they were looking at, I think he went to West Ham, I think there was a player that was earmarked to replace Guehi. I think it's a Brazilian centre back that was coming in, if memory serves me correctly. And he was going to go to Crystal Palace, and West Ham hijacked the deal at the last minute. And that is what caused the collapse in the Guehi deal. I think it was BM that said this, or somebody that said this, and there's a weird point to this. Guehi, I think, was only valued at like 35 million or something like that. All right, 20. So it was a relatively small figure. And I think BM was somebody said, I want to say BM, because I feel like a BM comment. Another overhyped English player. And I think there's something to that. When I really sit down, I really think about this Mark Guehi character. So Liverpool want you, but Liverpool don't want you to come start for them. No other team is out there looking to bring you in. And you are a deadline day, last minute deal. You're not that good of a baller. So for him to be the poster child of how ruthless the transfer market can be, I don't like what the media is doing, but Guehi don't really, better go back and Crystal Palace go play some ball.
So it seems like this, based on the Independent here, Kevin, so Cole and Rob Dorset. I mean, so Guehi will leave. Well, not will leave. Is available free next year. So leadership, Steve Parish and Crystal Palace either had a chance to do a deal now and risk losing him for nothing next year.
And so, January so he can go.
I mean, so Liverpool, I don't think, Liverpool will probably sweat this one too much unless, they get exposed too badly. I mean, if the player wants Liverpool, then January they'll sign an intended agreement, and he'll be a Liverpool player in the January next year. In January to summer next year, to the summer.
But they say the whole thing to me is crazy, and kind of like what happened with Isak as well. And I think Newcastle lucked out by bringing in the striker from Germany as a replacement at the last minute. It was well documented Isak wanted to leave. It was well documented, I think even more documented, that Guehi wanted to leave, wanted to go to Liverpool. There's a equitable admiration from both sides. We all knew this. So why Crystal Palace wait till the last second? It just blows my mind, and especially knowing that he's on his last year of his contract. It reeks of bad mind. It feels bad mindish in this thing. It just feels like the small club is saying, we're tired of the big club of boss we are on, and we're going to use this brother for send a message. It feels that way to me.
Maybe, definitely maybe. The thing for me is that, and I think Oliver Glasner, the coach of Crystal Palace, said this. And to paraphrase, he said something to the effect that for them to achieve their objective, they need Mark. Not only is he a centre back for them, but he's their captain. So there's gonna be a leadership void if he moves. There's also he's not readily replaceable. You don't have centre backs falling off tree at this level. Now, the value of £35 million, that's a little bit low, I think, for this type of player. Now, granted, Newcastle went in hard for him last year, and I think Newcastle bid something in the vicinity of 60 or 50 something, and that was back and forth, and I think at one time he felt he was on his way to Newcastle last year because of the Haji Baji. But he seems like a pretty decent young man. He seems like, you know, he value Crystal Palace. He value the club. I don't know if he came through their academy or came through the ranks, and he's willing to kind of stick with them through this final year. Who knows? He might end up signing one little contract extension so he can get Crystal Palace some money next January. Who knows?
Sure.
Who knows? I mean, and those things do happen, you know, for players who like the clubs that they do happen. So we'll see the situation, but I do think it's a big miss for Liverpool. Liverpool ultimately probably did not make a centre-back, the experienced centre-back, the high priority in the transfer market, and it may come back to bite them between now and January. But, you know, they believe that they have enough teeth. And I saw what Ibrahim Konate picked up a knock in the game against Arsenal. So,
right. But Gueye did represent that experienced centre back that they wanted, and they, if Crystal Palace was willing to play ball with them from early, they would have already signed Gueye. So the fly in the ointment right now is Crystal Palace, and they waited till the last minute. They thought they had a replacement coming in, and the replacement fell through, and now them salt. Because now you're going to have a disgruntled player who, playing on the last year of his contract, already has interest from Liverpool, other big teams. Why would he risk injury when he doesn't have a contract right now? So it logically it just doesn't make any sense. And look,
yeah, but he will want to play. It's a World Cup year. It's not like ballers got the answer them now risk injury. I mean, I think at the bedrock of this thing is that they are competitors. They want to play ball.
I don't think so.
BM says... go ahead.
No, go on.
BM says it's an interesting night in Jamaica. If Big Nose win, we'll give you an update. No, sorry.
You're not politics thing. I couldn't know that from now.
We will provide update whosoever win if we're still on. I mean, whosoever win, we hope say country improve. Liverpool will be unstoppable with his... Wait, since when you know in politics and you forward pan BCN Sport a bonfire upon country over so, and third man did not take your green card?
Yeah, I mean, I talk about home, but when I deal with Jamaica politics and the country over so, no.
All right, Alexander Isaac, or Isaac, or whatever you want to call it, Alexander Isaac or Isaac, has made his move to Liverpool Football Club. I mean, this is the worst kept secret, the back and forth. I don't even know why Newcastle drag out this thing for so long. It was inevitable. The player wanted Liverpool.
I think it's just poor business. No, Newcastle got lucky because they in place got a very good striker in return. I'm not going to say he's Isaac. I would never say that.
What name? Valdamed?
But I think they call him he's the German Messi or something like that.
What? German what?
Yeah, the Bundesliga Messi.
You know what? Don't come over here with them foolishness. You look about German Messi.
Yeah, they call him the Bundesliga Messi. In other words, he's highly, highly, highly touted. No, I've never seen him play before. We will see what he looks like in EPL, but apparently, Mr. Valdermeed is a big time baller. And they call him the German Messi.
Yeah, but all right. It's good that Newcastle did get a striker, because I think at the end of the day, they left some of these things a little bit too late. And
yes,
and they also secured the services of Johan Wissa from Brentford also, right? So,
Yep.
and I understand the Brentford one where Brentford was withholding or didn't want to let go Wizard. But from the longest time, we knew that Alexander Isak was interested in Liverpool, and so I don't know why this thing takes so long if it actually happened. And we have Marcus joining us, the NFL man joining us. Let me get off quickly here so Marcus can join and resize up these images. Football family, we're going to take a break from transfer news roundup. We have NFL insider Mr. Marcus Collins joining us. Let's see if he's here. Marcus, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you loud and clear.
All right.
Let's get to the pig. What do you call it? A pigskin?
The pigskin, man. The pigskin.
Yeah. And for the football family, Marcus, tell us a little bit. Tell the Ball Chat family a little bit about yourself and your love and passion for this game as we get ready for another season in the NFL.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the BCN. See, I got it. BCN family for allowing me to come and talk with you all tonight about my passion, which is American football. Just been a lover of football all my life. From Alabama, Roll Tide, that's been my team. And, here in Atlanta, being a Falcons fan, just because by circumstance, we're here and just been loving the game and formed a podcast with my buddy from college and Bright Idea Sports. And we cover NFL and other sports topics, but NFL is our main focus. And we like to talk about it any chance we get. So thank you guys for having us here tonight.
Marcus,
Sure.
Bright Idea Sports, one and only. Junior is a Florida State man. Marcus is an Alabama Roll Tide. Is there any sort of conversation should happen between you two guys? And for the Ball Chat, BCN Sports family, Florida State did play Alabama over the weekend, and Florida State defeated Alabama in college football. Anything you guys need to say to each other?
I didn't see that. My TV was messed up that day, so I don't know what you're talking about. No, congratulations to Florida State. They definitely were the better team that day, for sure.
I think Tommy Castellanos is still talking.
Yeah, he's still talking, but he's selling shirts and everything.
All right,
Congrats to them, though.
I didn't see that COVID, but I'll be honest with you. I forget about Tommy Castellanos. I think Gus Malzahn was the difference.
Yes.
And the Gus bus is the difference because they're going to control the game. They're going to run the ball, and if you don't stop them on the first down run, and they start going, it's over. And I think Alabama got this game. I think y'all coach. You're not going to bring the West Coast football to SEC and think you're going to get off with that. So what Saban pride and joy was on the big uglies up front. And if you don't have that, and you don't have that attitude, it gets showed up quickly. So,
spoken all true words.
Ahead for Alabama.
All true words. Yeah. Coaching matters. That's my motto for the season. Coaching matters.
All right, now to the big league. Another season, Marcus. Here we are. Junior is also an Eagles fan. Of course, we're in the ATL, so we support the Atlanta Falcons because we live here.
Well, but Benton, you have to preface it. I've been an Eagles fan since Jimmy Johnson defense. I've been an Eagles fan since Troy Vince. I'm not a fair weather fan. I've been since that 4-6 defense, pressure defense. I'm a blitz the hell out of you. I've been. What was it? Not the link. They used to call it the vet. I've been an Eagles fan since the old veteran. So let me just put that out there. So since we were trash, I've been an Eagles fan. Let me just put that out there.
Well, look, Hey, we would gladly take a Super Bowl in the A.
You had
whether
one.
it's-
No, we won't. We just need a playoff win, right? We just need to get to the playoffs right now, Ben. You shooting too high. Playoffs. Let's get there.
Yeah. Y'all had one until your offensive coordinator got crazy and wanted to throw the ball instead of running the damn ball.
This we bringing up old stuff. You hurt my feelings. Let's talk about the future. We're talking about the new season, okay? Let's move forward.
I think we're gonna move. We're gonna mute Junior's mic for the rest of the. All right. So Marcus, NFL Insider, talk to us. Things that we should look forward to this season, the NFL season. Things that you're keeping an eye on. Aaron Rodgers is at the Steelers. Young quarterback at the Falcons. Second year starter. The Eagles, the defending champion. What are we supposed to be looking forward to? Talk to us.
That's the most exciting thing about the NFL. It's new season, high hopes for everybody, and to be honest, it's still wide open, meaning that anybody could emerge as being the champion. There's a lot of parity in the league this year. Just the talent is spread out. A lot of newcomers, a lot of second year, third year guys are coming into their own. So I think that we're going to see a lot of new faces and new names that are going to become household names this year. Just based on progression and just the old guard moving on and the younger guys coming ahead. I'm curious to see let's start with the Eagles. I'm curious to see what the Eagles are going to look like. They have a new offensive coordinator. I mean, last year was a lot of rumblings about them running the ball and not actually throwing. Are they going to stay true to what they did to get a Super Bowl, which was run the ball? Or are they going to reinvent themselves and now all of a sudden want to throw the ball all over the place? So I'm really excited just tomorrow night to see who they are going to be this year. Because if we go back to their last change of the guards, they kind of messed up when they lost their offensive coordinator. The year after that, it was kind of hard going when they had I forget who the coordinator was, Junior, but he really kind of screwed things up as far as calling plays and a little bit of disarray. So I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to play out this particular year. The team I'm really keeping my eye out on is the Baltimore Ravens. I think that they have their window is open to make the Super Bowl. I think their window is here to make some noise, but for the past couple of years, they fell a little bit short. So I think this may be the last year for them to actually make a push for that Super Bowl run. So I'm really excited to see if they're going to take advantage of their time to actually do that. So I'm really looking forward to see what they're actually going to do. Of course, I'm looking at the Falcons this year. High hopes as usual, but you know how they usually end in disaster. But we're going to keep hope alive for the Falcons. I'm not going to dwell on that because that always turns into something that I don't want it to be. But there are a lot of new faces in new places. You get Vegas, we got Geno Smith and Pete Carroll out in Vegas. They're real hype about what they're going to do. I don't think it's going to pan out too much. You got the 49ers bouncing back. They got Robert Saleh back as their defensive coordinator. Will they go back to true to form and actually get back to the top of the NFC this year? And then you got Detroit. They lost both of their coordinators. Is that going to make a big difference? Because for the past couple of years, Detroit's been the team to beat. And is that going to make a big difference? And then last but not least, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. Do they have a chip on their shoulder? They got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. Are they going to bounce back and be a better team than they were last year? Because clearly they were not the best team last year. Truly the best team won the Super Bowl. So I'm really curious to see if that's going to motivate them to be better this year and get back to that Super Bowl form. So there's just a few things I'm keeping my eye out on for this season.
So I want to ask you two questions, Marcus, before Junior chimes in. Two teams specifically. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers. Is this it? Is this it? Is this the last chance for Mike Tomlin to try to either win or get sacked or get fired? And for the Buffalo Bills, if not now, for the Bills, when? Talk to me.
Well, with Pittsburgh, I think we're running into that same problem. We hear Aaron Rodgers and we think about the Green Bay Aaron Rodgers. This is not the same Aaron Rodgers. And I do think that Pittsburgh made a mistake going with Aaron Rodgers because it's a young man's game. And these guys are strong, fast, and quick. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is really up to speed to the game that it is now. And I don't think this is going to pan out well for Mike Tomlin and his guys. The problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers that they didn't solve is that they don't have a great offensive line to protect the quarterback. So if you put a quarterback that's 41 years old who can't move, that's a recipe for disaster. So I really don't see there being much success with Aaron Rodgers at Pittsburgh. And that's just based off what I've seen for the past couple of years. Last year with the Jets, Aaron Rodgers was a waste of money, if you ask me. And I mean, they put all their hopes in that basket. So I'm not really expecting much from Pittsburgh. I think with the disarray of some of their players having contract disputes, I just think with the long holdout from Aaron Rodgers, I think it was just too much going on. Not expecting much to actually be happening with those guys for sure. I truly don't. And the second question was
The Bills.
the Bills.
If not now, when?
The Bills are interesting because they don't have that their team is pretty young. And Josh Allen, I know he's peaked and he's MVP and he's doing well, but if you look at their squad, they don't have that many veterans. They don't have these guys with these elaborate contracts. So I still think that the Bills can, per se, continue to build over the next couple of years and still have their window there just because they're not locked into these huge contracts with these veterans in key positions. I mean, outside of Josh Allen, you really can't name anybody out, and they just paid Cook, their running back, just this offseason. But outside of that, they're not paying anybody big dollars. So they still have the ability to hit free agency. They still be able to hit the draft. So if it doesn't work out for them this year, I still think they have a chance to continue because they don't have to do a whole roster overhaul because they don't have those big contracts. They surprised me last year. I'm just going to be honest. I wasn't expecting much because they lost a lot. But who knows what happens this year? They could have another spectacular year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they struggled as well because I don't think the Bills' defense is all that great.
And the only reason why the Bills is probably what outside the Falcons. Well, they're probably more miserable than the Falcons, right?
Oh yeah,
because
for
they've
sure.
gone to what? They went to what? 4 Super Bowls?
4 straight.
4
Straight.
straight, yeah.
4 straight.
And couldn't win one.
Right.
That's misery.
But the thing about them,
until the coach decide not to run the ball.
There's nothing else left to do in Buffalo but to root for the Bills. So their misery, they turned it into Bills Mafia, where they breaking tables and getting drunk before the games and making it into a family event. So you kind of turn lemons into lemonade.
Yeah, good luck to the Bills.
Yeah.
Junior, you have anything to ask the NFL Insider?
I have 2 teams in both conferences that I think me personally, I'm very high on them. I think they are flying under the radar. Now, your hometown Falcons, I am extremely high on the Falcons. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't think they have any team in the NFC South that's going to trouble them. So they should run through this division. They're not going to be tested as much as the other teams are in the NFC. So I think the Falcons is one team that I will definitely, I'm high on. The other team I'm high on in the NFC that nobody's talking about is Green Bay. Nobody's talking about Green Bay. That those 2 teams, I'm telling you right, even as an Eagles fan, I don't think Eagles making it back to the Super Bowl. I'll just say it. There's a thing called the fat cat syndrome. They are going to get the fat cat syndrome. So those 2 teams and the other 2 teams in the AFC is very similar to the Falcons and Green Bay, in my opinion. Nobody's talking about Harbaugh at the Chargers. Nobody's talking about the LA Chargers. I'm telling you right now, that division is hell. We know that's hell. That's a hell division. But they will fight a way out. And the Houston Texans. What do you think about that? I think those are the NFC and the AFC games. Houston versus the Chargers in the AFC, and in NFC, I have the Falcons playing Green Bay.
I like your Chargers aspect. I think that's a good pick. I worry about health with them. It's somehow every year they tend to get a injury that just derails them. But I like the Chargers quite a bit. Green Bay, my only issue with Green Bay is that their receivers aren't accomplished, and they're putting a lot of hope into this rookie. I was very surprised. I mean, they're not even talking about the receivers they have. They keep talking about this rookie Golden from Texas. And I'm just tripping. I'm like, wait a minute, guys, y'all talking about a rookie. What about you guys you have? So I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out for those guys in that case. The Texans is another one. I think their defense is going to be outstanding. I think they have a great coach as far as defensively. I think CJ Stroud had that sophomore slump, so I'm curious to see how he's going to bounce back in that third year because I do think he's a good quarterback. But I think when teams get film on you, they kind of figure you out a little bit, and you have to go back in the lab and kind of figure some things out. So I'm kind of really curious to see how that actually is going to pan out with the Texans. I like them a lot, actually, though, because I think they are one of those teams that have a bunch of young players. They're not tied into these huge contracts. They have a good coach, and they could come out of the AFC South. That's an easy division, so I think that can happen.
Yeah.
And then the Falcons, I just think the ball has to bounce their way. I mean, I think they have to be injury-free. They have to play loose, and the defense has to stop someone. If the defense is the least can stop them a few times, I'm with you, Junior. I think the Falcons can run through the South. But if I wanted to say but I do think the Eagles, if they do the same thing they did last year, I think the Eagles will go back to the Super Bowl easy out of the NFC. I just don't see a team in the NFC that really has the same moxie as the Eagles have in terms of coaching and in terms of personnel because your defense is young and they play well under Vic Fangio's system, and I think that's going to be fine. My question is, will they go back to Saquon and can he stay healthy? Because if they do that, I think they can beat teams like they did last year, which is just basically we're not going to get you to give you the ball. We're going to run it. So I like the Eagles going back because I was thinking a lot about this. I wanted to say the Lions, but I'm not quite sure if they're ready to really make that jump. I don't think so. So I'm staying safe with the Eagles, and then I like Baltimore out of the AFC. That's what I like for the Super Bowl.
I'm an Eagles fan, so I know Sirianni was 1 4th-and-1 call away from being fired. AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts was one bad pass away from having a bust up on the sideline.
Right.
That's going to I'm telling you right. I'm even questioning will they even win the East because Washington is there. And I always laugh at the Deadskins, but they are there, and the Commanders, they are primed and ready. I believe in that quarterback, and with Deebo Samuel there now, that's the whole other element that teams will have to pay attention to. So it is, and the Giants might have a bounce back here. Look, this is the NFC beast. Anything can happen, but I'm telling you right now, I love the Falcons, not because you and Ben can support the Falcons.
Yeah,
I think the Falcons.
Keep it moving.
No, but every team has that one
it's
player.
It's easy to love us because we're easy to pick on.
No. Trust me. I'm telling you right now, the Falcons going to have a no-fly zone. I mean,
we are tired, Junior. We want to win a Super Bowl.
No, I'm telling you, they're going to be hard to pass on. They're not giving up anything in the secondary. That's number one. I think Kyle Pitts.
I can see the Falcons struggling against it, eking out a victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Junior messing with. I tell you, they're gonna win a few games.
No, I'm telling you, Kyle Pitts is the key to the Falcons' offense. If Kyle Pitts can become Kyle Pitts, and this is a contract year for him, I'm telling you right now, and I agree. If the ball bounces the right way here and there, cool. But I'm telling you, Kyle Pitts will have a breakout year. Mark it down. Remember I tell you that.
All right, marking it down. Marcus, before you go, we have some questions here, a couple questions from fans out on the left side, the left coast. Minnesota Viking fan, to be exact. He says, what's the outlook for the Vikings this year? So Sam Darnold is gone, right?
Yeah, he's in Seattle now.
Their quarterback situation is what? J.J. McCarthy? Who's that?
Correct. That's right. He's the kid from Michigan. He got hurt last year in the preseason. His rookie year, he didn't play, so he's going to start for him this year. The Vikings still have a hell of a defense. Brian Flores is still defensive coordinator, and I think they'll still be formidable. But that's the unknown. What is JJ McCarthy going to do? He's a rookie, essentially. He hadn't played a game. He's coming into the NFL. Everybody thinks every rookie is going to be like a Jalen Daniels or a CJ Stroud when he was a rookie. So I don't know what he's going to be. So it's hard for me to call if that's going to work out. I personally am not putting faith that it's going to be the same type of offense that they had last year with Sam Darnold. But I do think they won't be terrible. They'll be in the game because of their defense, but it'll all be dependent on their quarterback for sure.
And the Cowboys, America's team, check out the Netflix series that just premiered. The Cowboys fans sending in questions. Outlook this year for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, of course, they play the Eagles tomorrow. Jerry needs a ring, man. Needs another ring.
Hey, I just had this conversation. I think that looking at what the Cowboys did in the offseason, they didn't improve their offensive line outside of drafting a lineman. They really didn't improve their defensive line outside of getting Kenny Clark, but losing Michael Parsons. I don't expect them to protect Dak, and I don't expect them to be able to stop the run. So I think they'll pretty much be the same team we saw last year, just with different characters. They have a bad GM, and I can say that because I'm not a part of the establishment, but Jerry Jones has cost this team tons of success by bad moves and bad signings and bad extensions. If I had to pick out of the three players that he just recently gave contracts, meaning Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Parsons, I would have gave the contract to Michael Parsons first. Because looking at the production that you've gotten out of the other two, it does not equal the value of the money that you spent on those. And I just don't think that, though, that was a good move to get rid of an elite pass rusher that doesn't come around often. And sure, he can't stop the run, but he gets you 12 sacks. If he were on the Falcons, he would be king of Atlanta right now if he got us 12 sacks a year. So I just think that he's making bad moves, putting his teams in bad situations where they're just not going to be successful. So not looking for much out of the Cowboys. Curious to see what this offense is going to look like under the new coach. But I'm pretty sure I kind of know. No running game. Got Dak Prescott, who doesn't have any protection. He usually throws interception when that happens. And the defense didn't improve. So I'm not expecting much from the Cowboys.
King of Atlanta with Magic City as his throne, eh?
You know it.
Somebody from Florida is asking about their beloved Dolphins. Do you expect a return for the Dolphins, or is this tie and is the Dolphins about to blow up?
I think the Dolphins is one of those teams that's on the line of going one way or the other. They have talent. They have a good coach, I think. I think he has a good mind. I think this is the year to see if they're going to be a team that in the shape that they're in to be successful, or they're going to have to blow up. I'm curious to see how this Tyreek Hill situation has affected the team. He wasn't elected captain this year. I don't know if he's going to be the man to say, I need to gain my respect back, or is he going to go sit in the corner and pout? And that's going to cause more turmoil within the team. I like the Dolphins. I think they have a good team. I think they got good talent. I think the defense was coming along. I think they're young. I think they could be a good team. But when you don't have cohesion, there's not much you can do with that. So it's all going to be about attitude. I want to see this Colts game Sunday because I think the Colts is not a good team, and Miami should dominate them. So we'll see. That should tell the story about where they are head-wise, whether or not if they come out and dominate this team or if it's one of those close nick and tuck games that they barely pull out. But I do like the Dolphins. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them, especially in the AFC East, because, I mean, the Bills are the cream of the crop, but outside of that, is anybody's game after that. So I think the Dolphins have a good chance to really show their worth in the AFC. I think they could make some noise. As long as it's not cold, though, Junior, they'll be okay.
Um,
And then
yeah, go NFL
and
questions coming in. Go ahead, Judah.
what this question has to be asked: who you think is going to have more passing touchdowns this year? Shador Sanders or my boy at Anthony Richardson at the Colts?
Oh, wow. Great question. Only because I think that this guy will play and the other one probably won't play as much. I think Anthony Richardson will throw more touchdowns. I think Shador will play, but I think it's going to be late in the season. And the reason I say that is I think they're going to give Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel every opportunity that they possibly can to do whatever it is that they're going to do. And that could be 10, 12, 14 weeks of the season that they give them their chance. And then they'll probably throw Shador out there. I think Daniel Jones will be given the hook within the first 4 weeks. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. I don't know why people want to make him into something that he's not. And I think Anthony Richardson's it's just going to be by default. You're not going to win with Daniel Jones, and it'll be evident in his first game. And I was watching him in preseason, and he still can't throw. He still throws interceptions. And I'm just like, what? Nothing's changed. What are we talking about here? So I think Anthony Richardson will throw more touchdowns this year.
All right, this is the moment, Marcus. You know, some of us got to make a trip to Vegas. Season kickoff tomorrow. Super Bowl picks. Those of us who, you know, normally only circle around at Super Bowl time, who do you got?
As of today, my picks as of September the 3rd is going to be Baltimore out of the AFC and the Eagles out of the NFC. And I have the Baltimore Ravens as your Super Bowl champion. I think that Baltimore is going to go through both Buffalo and Kansas City to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think they'll beat the Eagles.
So Baltimore must get home field advantage in the AFC to be able to secure that path, right?
I'm not going to really say that. And the reason I'm going to say that is just last year. I mean, Baltimore is not a warm place. It's not the coldest place. But I don't think Kansas City or Buffalo's conditions are really going to change much. And we're dealing with a very veteran team. So home field advantage, you can't really rattle a professional. And we're talking about Lamar Jackson, and they were 2-point conversion away last year from doing what they needed to do. So
fair enough. But when I remember, like, you go into the cauldron of the Chiefs Stadium in an AFC Championship night, when you got almost a million, it feels like 1 million people breathing down on you.
It's a drop pass. Remember, it's a drop pass. You know, I wonder how that Titan is going.
And the favorite quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs is the favorite quarterback of the man sitting in certain position.
Well, you know, motivation is real, and I think that Lamar is super motivated, not only just because he want to go to the Super Bowl, but I think deep down he felt a little slighted about that MVP vote last year too.
Oh yeah.
I think he's like, nah, that cat wasn't the MVP. I was the MVP, and okay, y'all, it was close. It's not even going to be close this year. And I think he's really going. I think he's going to do some miraculous things, man. It's hard to hold a player like that in a box for so long, and I think he's coming into his own. And over the past 2 years, he's impressed me, and I think he's ready to make that leap. Even more than Josh Allen, even though that's who they hyping up. I think he's ready even more than Josh Allen.
NFL kickoff weekend are coming up, right? Thursday night.
Tomorrow night.
Thursday night football, Eagles versus Cowboys. NFC East matchup, Friday evening game also, right?
Going to Brazil. Yeah.
Going to Brazil. Hey, yo.
Yeah.
Let's do it. The Falcons, season and prediction, family. Your thoughts on?
So I got the Falcons winning about 10 games. The Falcons got some formidable opponents this year. I'm looking for consistency. I think that we have lulls throughout the season where we have coaching mishaps, we have player mishaps. things that just cost us games. The kicking game has cost us games. Just little things like that. And I just hope that they can be more consistent. The city is dying to get behind them. I mean, they got players that they want to make their favorite players. I think we got a good owner, Arthur Blank, who actually, invest within the community and the fans. So I think it's time for them to get over the hump, at least to be competitive and make it to the playoffs. Not saying they're going to be Super Bowl contenders, but at least competitive to where I'm not turning my TV off in the third quarter because I'm like, this is pointless. So that's what I'm hoping for. Sunday, I will watch the whole game, Benton. I'm in.
I watch the Falcons. I support them because Arthur Blank built a children's hospital by 85. This man has done so much
Right.
For this community. So let's get Arthur Blank a Super Bowl, Bridget.
Yes.
Don't worry about the rest of us. Just get Arthur Blank a Super Bowl.
Yes, let's do it for Arthur. Let's do it for Arthur. And the curse is broken. We got Michael Vick back on commercials in the dome, so we good to go.
See?
I went to the preseason game. They got they had Michael Vick on the big screen. I was like, "Oh, we're back!"
See, this is where dog fighting goes off the rails.
Right.
Junior, any comments, any questions coming in from the family that you want to ask Marcus before he makes his exit?
I agree 100%. It's just that, my friend Virgo is from Cleveland, and he seems to think that Shador will be starting by week 3, week 4. We'll see. We'll see.
Let me speak just briefly. I know you guys got to go, but the hate that exists in the NFL is so strong that it's crazy to see a team that will overlook talent that they need that will help them to succeed in order for them to prove a point because of whatever reason, dislike, hate that they have for this man and his family. And it just once again proves that supersedes even success. They would rather not even be successful just to prove this point. And he's right. I think he should probably be starting by week 5. But you got to look at I always say that the owners always will never want to look like they're wrong. So they signed Joe Flacco. They're going to let him play as long as they can actually stand it. And then once he's like no good and they're like, we can't do this anymore, the next choice is going to be Dylan Gabriel. And then he's going to have a long leash. So Shador is so far down the line, not because of talent, but because of just the position and the thought pattern of the NFL and the executives of the NFL. It's a very sad story, and unfortunately, he's paying the price for this. But I just hope he gets his opportunity, and when he does, I hope he takes advantage. But I don't see him playing, and they proved that to me in the preseason because he clearly was one of the better quarterbacks.
Yeah, I would love to have you back on the show because there's a conversation to be had about NIL and how is that affecting NFL decisions, because that there's an angle there as well, that the amount of money that Shador made and the hype behind him, that is what kind of hurt his stock. And so there's another conversation there about college sports transitioning to professional and how the professional teams with their good old boy club, how they are like. So we'd love to have you on again, because we'll have to have that conversation. For real.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry Jones just proved our point. He gave away one of the best players for 2 first-round picks. Are you serious? Trey Lance got 3 first-round picks.
It's because he said he can't stop the running game.
Man, I was just like,
in a league where you should be hunting quarterbacks, you can't stop the running game.
Sell me a Rolls Royce for $20,000. I'll take it.
Marcus, it would be nice to have you back after, we touch in and get a few updates. Tell us the highs and lows of the previous week. It's a free position. Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports. Before you leave, Liverpool. You're a big Liverpool fan also. I said you're a Liverpool fan, and Junior's like, I am so disgusted. Junior was like, we could be friends. And then you
They're
said
everywhere.
Liverpool. It was like, oh, God.
But look, Junior, you got to understand. When I met Benton, he was into soccer. I was like, so what team has struggled to win a championship that hasn't won one? And he was like, Liverpool. I was like, well, they like the Falcons, so I'm gonna root for Liverpool. And all of a sudden, they started winning. So, hey, it's just by default, man. It's by default, okay?
So maybe the Falcons will win this year. Because it seems like you're somewhat of a good luck charm.
Right.
Great start to the season, family. Liverpool doing well. You know, hopefully you guys keep it up. Keep it up. It's been a great start to the season. But Falcons kicks off this Sunday. Is it a W?
I'm claiming a W. I think the Bucks have a couple of key injuries. They have a new coordinator as well for their offensive coordinator. I think the Falcons, we finally got a quarterback they believe in, Michael Penix. I think the first game, energy, hype. I think for the first time, I think we got a chance to win this first game in a long time. Just
It's a home game, right?
Yeah, home game. Yeah.
We'll see you inside the stands, right?
Yeah, in my comfort of my television in my home.
My crazy prediction: Michael Penix would be wearing a baseball cap with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and Cousins will be making passes as they put him in the shop window. They'll be up that comfortable by then.
I like the way you think, Junior. I like the way you think, brother. Because I just to pay it back to you, I am calling for a blowout tomorrow night. I really am.
Yep. Yeah, tomorrow. You know how much we hate the Cowboys, like,
right?
Yeah, so yeah.
That's why I'm calling for the blowout. Championship, get your ring, everything. Play the Cowboys, make it a special night. You know.
But it's a tricky game. It's always something weird with that game, but we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see.
NFL kicks off this weekend. Actually, tomorrow night, Cowboys versus the Eagles. Marcus Collins, NFL insider from Bright Idea Sports. Marcus, Bright Idea Sports is on all social media platforms. We look forward to hear the content, and I know you guys took a break. You guys back up?
Yeah, we're revamping our content, so we're look out for our new content coming out soon on our platform. We had to change things up a little bit to make it a little bit more exciting for everybody and a little bit more entertaining. So hope you like it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Dropping knowledge as always, man. Big up. Thank you for joining us, Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports, NFL Insider. Look forward.
What's the Instagram handle?
Bright Idea Sports.
Bright Idea Sports. Check it out on YouTube at Bright Idea Sports, Bright Idea Sports on X and all social media platforms. Definitely ready up. Marcus, we'll see you next week, hopefully with a Falcons W.
For sure. Y'all have a good night. Thanks a lot.
Salute, Marcus.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. All right.
There you have it. Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports. Junior, let me get the video resize NFL discussion there, Junior. Different league. That's the big league.
Yeah. The
All
big
right.
league, and it's a league of parity. So if even if you don't understand the sport, it's definitely exciting because they found the holy grail of creating parity.
And there's a lot of things that has been copied from the NFL into the English Premier League and the football world, aka soccer world, right?
There's a conversation to be had with that too, because what makes the NFL, what makes the football world, our football world, I don't want to call it soccer, our ball world, different and unique, it doesn't work the same for the NFL. So in the NFL, like I sent some videos in a group chat with the chants in England and Europe, and how I have a video where the Newcastle It was Newcastle supporters in a bus driving to a game, and they passed the Sunderland bus going in another direction, and it became Banter City, right? You don't have that in the NFL. You don't have that in American sports, period. It's very few teams have that real sense of rivalry, real sense of hate. And hate in a not in a physical hate, but in a sports hate sense. And I caution our football going in the NFL direction, because the NFL, they depend on TV rights. They depend on streams. Our football doesn't depend on streams. Our football depends on butts in seats. Our football depends on the fan base, real fan base. We're not talking big money fans. We're talking real fans that sit down and have real banter that goes on during the game. So they have to be careful going at that model. We say Manchester United, they're floating around having seat license. If you have seat license in your stadium, you're going to have the real fans going to pubs. And you know what to be done? This is a great money-making idea for us. The second seat license,
if it's making
the
money,
second was the seat license start, we need to open pubs. Because I guarantee what we see in the stands, we're going to see in the pubs.
Yeah.
And only rich people going to go to the games.
Yeah,
rich people go to the games. Just think about it. You'll never walk alone. You're not going to, if it was the NFL doesn't even have chance. You think about it, they don't have it's just the Chiefs. The Chiefs do the tomahawk chop and but they don't even broadcast that all the time, right?
Yeah.
If you have rich, snotty-nosed people sitting down in the stands, they are not going to sing "You'll Never Walk Alone." They're going to sit down and look around. Oh, what do I see normally on TV? Where's the song that people sing? Is it what I said?
Yeah, the thing though, Junior, and that I think, who said this? The NFL TV money is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is sickening. And I think because of that level of TV money, it really attracted the eyes of English Premier League owners and so forth. Because when you look at the NFL, for example, the NFL has the NFL Network. They have NFL Red Zone, which I think that channel only focuses on touchdowns throughout the season. And that is $14 a month.
Oh, but that changed. ESPN bought it, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
So and funny you bring that up. So
okay.
And this is something Marcus, next time Marcus, we can ask him about this too. So the NFL Red Zone, when they were on NFL Network, their big selling point was commercial free, showing every touchdown.
Commercial. Yeah, that was their big,
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ESPN showing commercials on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's been enough to make money. I mean, I think ESPN actually been struggling financially. So the commercials.
Well, yeah, because the talent, and this is a whole this kind of ties into the conversation I started earlier about new media. Old media is trying to keep up with new media, but the problem is old media still have to have some level of professionalism that we old new media don't need to have. That is our advantage. We can put on our YouTube show, we're going to start at 8:30, but we'll start at 8:35. And people will still show up and say, well, that's just BCN being BCN. Make Sports Center start 5 minutes later and see how much people still watch ESPN.
Chop off a channel.
Exactly. So with that being said,
speaking of chopping off, and if you cancel it this week, ESPN Plus.
so with that being said, they need to pay professionals, and it's the same thing with the people in front of the camera. You will never see a Junior and Benton on ESPN, right? Because we don't have faces for TV. It is what it is.
No, that's not.
So they need to pay trillions of dollars to these pundits that they cannot recoup of
the talent.
right, but they can't recoup that of TV rights money. So that's a conundrum that they're caught in. Plus, you have shows like ours that come out and feed the same information. We can come out and spew a lot of BS. I can come on and say, you know what? I think I think the Tennessee Titans going to win the NFL this year. Garbage. But I can say it, and people will not be turned off from BCN. But make somebody by ESPN say that. No, chop it off. Yeah. So that is what hurting them. So when you talk about the British, and I must stick to British. When we talk about the English team owners looking over on that with red eyes, I'm like, yo, but kind of like that. Yo, cause I was looking it up. The average cost of NFL tickets is 120 to 300. It could be around 120 to 377. $377, right? Average cost 120 to 377. And you're way up on those bleeds, right?
Yes. So full disclosure, I had NFL season tickets about maybe 15 years ago. Three of us, three brethren just put some money together and said we are gonna get 8 games, which are the home games, and a couple preseason games. Brethren, yo, I think I'm on the roof. Listen on. I swear we sat on the roof.
But hold on. So how much you think is the average price for EPL ticket?
All right. So EPL ticket, there's been a complaint. About 50, 60 pounds, right?
46 pounds.
Yeah, 50, yeah.
That's the average cost.
But EPL fans have been complaining about that price.
Exactly, because their model is all about bringing in the fans and community. NFL is not that.
Yeah.
NFL is premium.
Yeah.
So they have to be careful. It's a slippery slope. What makes people love EPL is the fan base. And if they ever try run down the NFL model, dog yam them supper.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100%. Before Marcus joined us, you were wrapping up the transfer window. Any other statements or any news that you wanted to touch regarding transfer window before we move to CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers?
Other than it was a whimper in the end, I think all the teams that needed to take care of them business took care of them business fairly early. If I was to say a winner of the transfer market, it's going to sound weird. I give it to Newcastle. I think Newcastle had the best transfer market. They got it late. They got there late. And we laughed at Newcastle a couple weeks. Oh, them look for this set. Everybody turned them down. But they filled their holes. Arsenal as well became a much stronger team out of the transfer market. Biggest disappointment to me is Man City. Dead. Man City, dead. And the biggest surprise, Rodrigo is still at Real Madrid. I would have never guessed Rodrigo would still be at Real Madrid. That's a shock.
But it was that contract, right?
It doesn't matter. You can absorb that. Teams, so is it,
right?
Yeah, but is it then that Rodrigo? Is it that Rodrigo is overvalued?
No, he's not. 300,000. What? 300 was it? 300,000 a week?
Yeah, but
because I think he plays a role. He's like, I thought he was the non-ego guy of the group, right?
Right.
But from what he has, since he now wants to play left wing, so it's like he also is becoming the ego guy.
Yeah, but so do you think then his personality before is what hurt his chances of, because you're not going to get paid $300,000 a week and be the quiet leader. If you are getting 300 grand a week in a team outside of Real Madrid, outside of Barcelona, because Barcelona have bigger personalities on the wing, Real Madrid have bigger personalities on the wing. If you take Rodrigo, forget about the salary, forget about ego. Rodrigo in Man City becomes better. Rodrigo in Bayern Munich becomes better. Rodrigo at Liverpool becomes better. So the player himself is a better addition to all of these teams. Rodrigo at Arsenal becomes better. So he the addition of Rodrigo, the talent, is necessary. But does Rodrigo have a 300,000 a week personality? Does Rodrigo have the Kylian Mbappe personality?
But he's not Kylian Mbappe talent. You can't get them type of money there.
But that's what he's getting now.
No, so he's current, at least according to this recap, he's asking for he asked for £350 per week for a transfer. He's currently making 207 to 262 pounds a week.
But that's closely. He's not. If Liverpool was interested, he would not ask for 350.
No,
if Bayern Munich was interested, he would not ask for 350.
They said he asked, according to this report, it says he asked for £350,000 for a week to a Premier League club like Arsenal or Liverpool.
That's shocking to me. He didn't want to leave then. He didn't want to leave because are somebody advising him right?
Or the agent drop it.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised he's still there though. I'm not surprised. I mean, I think regardless of what he said, it's almost like for me, Rodrigo fits perfectly with this current landscape at Real Madrid, in the sense that, I mean, he needs to play football. He's not gonna win at the highest level like he will at Real Madrid. And if you want £350,000 a week, you have to, or more, you have to be that man to be able to take the pressure and handle the limelight. And I don't see Rodri as that sort of personality. I mean, you know,
and that's why I think what made him great for Real Madrid is what hurt his stocks to go to another squad. Yeah. Because at Real Madrid he was the perfect glue guy. He proved that he can play with big personalities and fit into a role. Now, did you prove that you can come to a team and be the big personality? If you go to Liverpool, if you go to Arsenal, would you go there now and take over from Odegaard? Will they look at you now as the leader at Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, with that salary, you automatically then...
Exactly, you should command
that big bullseye now you have to deliver, right?
But he doesn't have that personality. That's not his personality. He didn't show that in his CV. He only showed that for a week after Carlos announced that he was going to Brazil. He showed that little that glimpse of a personality. But then if you notice, he has shut the hell up since. If you notice, he hasn't said anything publicly. There hasn't been any... Rodrigo is quoted for... No, he's been quiet. He's been, nah, you know what? Maybe I belong in this shell. Maybe this is my role. My role is to be the glue guy. Hurt him.
And it's also probably the first real test of Xabi Alonso's new leadership role, right? Because a part of Rodrigo's desire is maybe put pressure upon him to say, yo, Bridget showed that I am also important in the group. What Xabi Alonso has shown is that his desire to rotate some of these players. You know, Carlo probably was a little bit more married to saying, okay, Vinicius, you are a player left, Mbappe down the middle, Rodrigo right. Whereas Xabi Alonso, I know it's early in the season, you know, he has probably shown that, you know, sometimes Vinny are going to rub bench and sometimes Rodrigo are going to start. And that may give Rodrigo a little bit more desire, you know, kind of value. Like, all right, no, I can play the role. But, you know, he then has to complement with whether it's Mbappe or whoever is going to play down the middle too. So, you know. But the thing also, the final thing I want to say, it's important that Rodrigo get himself right, because at the end of the day, Brazil does well with a good Rodrigo, especially with World Cup coming up. I mean, he needs to figure out whatever going on with him and get himself sorted out.
No.
No, I think so, because with him and a proper manager, a guy who's now at the helm, who was one at the club level, Rodrigo, I know Brazilian player cannot come with any foolishness.
Listen, what Rodrigo did is open the door for the young ballers to come through. What Rodrigo did is, because Rodrigo, Vinny, and to a lesser extent, as St Lucia Kings win, man, I lick it off in 11 overs.
Yeah, the dominant performance for St Lucia Kings.
But Rodrigo and Vinny, kind of, if Rodrigo was to stay pat, Brazil wings would have been locked down for years to come. You would have never seen anybody else coming in on the wings. And when Rodrigo did what he did and said what he said against Carlo Ancelotti, open up the doors, and now you have some little poisonous youth. Look at the youth at Chelsea, Esteval, Savinho. Look at them ball there.
But again, Junior, them they are pitting, you know.
It doesn't matter.
And I think it
doesn't
does,
matter,
because at the end of the day, Rodrigo has actually won at the highest level. I can't send a baby to go win World Cup, Regin.
We're not sending a baby to go win World Cup. But what Rodrigo did is made an opportunity for a baby to cut his teeth in the World Cup qualifiers. And if the baby can cut him, let me tell you something. The most vicious snakes in the world, you know, is the baby snakes.
We will watch the baby tomorrow. watch him demonstrate them draw out for him. Good luck to him. Speaking of baby, before we get to World Cup qualifier, any final thing regarding this transfer news that we want to say? Donnarumma is now at Man City. Any comments regarding young Trafford? I mean, knowing that he was a starter, and after 3 games, the man them say your new goalie.
And he did nothing wrong. He did not. The goalkeeper them kind of get treated bad, because forget about Trafford. Look at Emi Martinez.
He made an error in that Tottenham game, but I thought he did okay in the other games. I think he did fine. I thought he was outstanding last week, and how would they played last week? Them lose again, right, against Brighton.
Right.
Yes. In fact, he made some good saves.
It's weird to me. But Donnarumma is only 27, 26. Donnarumma, I think Donnarumma is about 35, you know. I think Donnarumma is 26, I believe. Yeah, he's 26. Donnarumma is 26. He's 26.
26,
so,
yeah.
So, I mean, Trafford is going to go the way of what the American keeper used to keep Man City name again.
Yeah,
the black keeper.
Casey Keller?
No, man. No, the black keeper he keep for Man City.
Oh, Zach
Stefan. Yeah. So Trafford's going to go the way of Zach Stephens.
But this is where Trafford's agent now has to get very aggressive in the transfer window.
Which you just got there? Which aggressive where? How?
Yeah, but you're not playing. You're brought in and you're not playing. So why sit around like Ortega and hope? Mind you, I am not sold on this Donnarumma experiment at Man City yet, because there's one thing that Pep Guardiola has always asked for is a goalkeeper. Unless Pep change, is a goalkeeper can play with the ball in his feet.
Ball game change. Over the first 3 games, did you see Zach Steffen holding onto the ball and making decisions from the back? Pepper's changed.
Trafford has been playing ball out from the back.
Nah, not like they used to. Not like they used to.
Especially those
Man City's
defenders
not
who are
playing
always
higher.
a turn ball back. Let's see how Donnarumma handled that in the Premier League.
Easily. Come on, man.
Let's see
Donnarumma is
how
a world
Donnarumma
class.
hand- And we know Donnarumma is a bally brother, you know. We saw firsthand he was crying at AC Milan when things hit the fans.
He was 19. He was 19, sir.
Wait, at 19, he's been at PSG that long?
Yes, Donnarumma was 19 and started.
And then what year
he was
when
19
PSG
started
said
for AC
they had
Milan.
enough sound like him that ball on social media? I mean, there's nothing wrong with a man crying, but brother, you can't have a ball for everything.
You know what, though? You know what? I have a crazy theory. Because you're right. And Donnarumma, I won't try to put lipstick on a pig. Donnarumma is not a Pep goalkeeper. The question now that I would have to ask, because we can look at Man City and we can highlight all the issues that Man... Now, they did sign a very good left back. They did sign a very good wing back. But they still have holes at right back. They still have holes down the middle of the field. They still have holes at left wing. And they went out and signed a world-class goalkeeper that is not a Pep goalkeeper. Maybe they have already identified their next coach next year. And
I don't know what's going over there, brother.
No, I think they've identified their next coach, giving Pep a swan song this year. And so, brother, hit the road. We already start build for the next coach. I think they've already.
I mean, like some of those. How old is what Cherokee and Rangers? How old are those players that came in?
Young.
Some of them want to look old, brother.
Cherokee is 22.
No, I like that. If an African forward and say look like that and say I'm 22, then the whole owner would have run out and say I lie. That brother is an old man. There's nothing 22 about that man there.
Ryan Cherokee?
There's nothing 22 about that man there, brother. How old is Ranger?
Yeah, Ryan Cherokee is 22 years old.
And,
he's 22.
And Rangers is how old?
27.
Okay, well, the one that fit the age.
Well, no. I think Tihani is 27. The one at Man City is Eliana, right?
Oh, I don't.
Hold on. Rangers, Man City.
I have Rangers' age is 27. Cherokee is 22.
Yeah, 27. Yeah.
Yep. All right, World Cup qualifiers time, family. Let's get weird. And before we go to the Reggae Boyz and the World Cup qualifier game coming up, any thoughts on this Luis Suarez and Inter Miami behavior, the spitting incident after this game, family?
So I think there are cracks in Miami. I think the league is starting to lose respect for this Miami experiment. And I think the players, the big time players, are starting to feel that, and it's starting to show. We saw what happened with Messi earlier. And now with Suarez show of emotion the way he did, I cannot think of what the coach could have done realistically to warrant that reaction. I
have a suggestion. How about you stop hiring your friend as coach? There is a thought. Wait, actually, you know what? Not don't hire your friend as coach. How about you hire your friend who's actually good at a job? There is no way Javier Mascherano should have gotten that work. None. He's failed with the Argentina under-20 team, failed at club football, and now him get because this is the way them treat MLS. Oh, sorry, Junior, you were saying so.
No, you're right. But clearly, David Beckham and company looked at Messi and said, okay, part of the deal for us to get you here is tell us who you want to coach you.
Yeah. I guess
That's what
when the
happened.
league twerk for you, this is what you can do.
Yeah.
Reports are coming out that Luis Suarez is looking at a lengthy suspension for spitting on the Seattle Sounders staff member during the League Cup final on Sunday. Junior, of course, they end up losing the game 3-0. This is it for him? I mean, this guy, excellent striker, but is almost like the dirtiest and the worst ball. Yo, of course, from the biting incident, from the Patrice Evra incident, from no spitting palm people, in fact, multiple biting incidents.
The biting, the Negrito comment to Patrice Evra.
Yeah, Negrito, yeah.
It is
the biting a World Cup, biting a club football, and no spitting palm staffers. Yo, Luis Suarez get a big bug. The man have to get beaten with belt, man.
Yeah. But you know, it's hard sometimes to take the animal out of the player, and that's what makes him. That's what makes Luis Suarez who Luis Suarez is. It's the same thing like Diego Costa. It's the same thing. Not to that extent. I don't think Diego Costa went to that extent, even though we see him put nose knot on somebody. But look, Suarez is an old general, and his time has come. And he's used to getting favors when he does something like this. He's going to learn now that he's old. I think that's what he's about to learn. That, you're just Luis Suarez in name. You're not Luis Suarez, the baller, anymore. Them days gone. So we'll see.
Final thoughts on this, and just pivot to Lionel Messi. Scolani, coach of Argentina team, was in tears speaking about Messi and maybe the last game for him. If this is the end, last international game for him, Junior. Coach Kalani, I was very emotional. I hope Messi isn't playing last Argentina home game. Junior, shouldn't that be already established, like this is your last game and we could do a final farewell for you or something? Scalani says, quote, yes, this is a match where Leo has said he'll be emotional, special, nice, because it's true that it's our last qualifying match. We have to enjoy it, as we've always been saying, but more than enjoy, I will enjoy it. Having to be able to coach him has honestly been a pleasure.
And you said Donnarumma Bali. Oh my God!
Mean, just have one little farewell match for the man and just call it a thing of a testimonial.
It's just too
and
much.
The bother with this balling thing.
It is too much. It is. And you know what? I think it's taken away from his legend. I think it's taken away from his aura. I really do. I really think it's taken away from his aura. Where it's almost like, and look, I will say this. You might not believe me. Donald might not believe me. People won't believe me when I say this, but it is the truth. I regard Messi as a generational talent, as 1A or 1B, depending on what your preference. He's one of the two greatest footballers of his generation. But there is a thing to fatigue, name fatigue, and what we're seeing being propped up right now in Miami and what we're seeing being propped up in Argentina is not what we saw before. It's that the talent is not there anymore. It's not the same. And look, there's nothing wrong with saying, yo, this brother is a generate would salute the brother.
Yeah,
come out, like you said, farewell game and go on by your business, man. Go into retirement.
It's really not embarrassing. It's sad seeing sometimes play right now in the MLS, because Jaja, you have some bugs who are play ball with him right now and them man they are run with him. I mean, I say, yo, look at idiot here. But I guess it's the passion for the game and the love, but he can't do the things that he wants used to do, you know. So time for all away, you know. Time for all away. Big up Fabi. Fabi said, boy, politics have me just a check in. Green man looks like him get a third term. BN said, looks that way, but will be close. Seems like big nose are forward again. Big up yourself, brother. And hopefully whosoever win it, you know, do a thing for the country and improve the thing.
Like I say, I don't care who win, whether you're green or you're burn orange. We just want safety. I want people who can go out there, express themselves and go home and wake up tomorrow and carry on as usual, life as usual. That's all I'm voting for right now.
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, that's the objective. I mean, whosoever work towards a better Jamaica, that way I say. That way I say.
Yep.
Work towards a better Jamaica. Granted, enough we might be coming home soon.
Not me. Hey.
CONCACAF World Cup qualifier third round action kicks off Thursday, September 4th, and Friday, Junior. This is it, family. The third round. This is it, final round. Group A, El Salvador, Guatemala, Panama, Suriname. Group B, Bermuda, Curacao, Reggae Boyz, Trinidad and Tobago. Group C, Haiti, Honduras, Nicaragua. Group winner, each group winner advanced to World Cup in 2026. Reggae Boyz kicks off against Bermuda. Inside Bermuda playing field, family. The Gombe Warriors over they have the Bermuda National Stadium, but it says the Flora Duffy Southfield Stadium. This is where the game will be played. Junior, we saw the squad, and now it's 48 hours approximately from the game. Early thoughts, Junior. I mean, well, maybe late thoughts. Your thoughts. You're reading on this football game, and what do you expect?
Part of me, Jamaica should win this game going away comfortably. That no reality dictates that it's going to be different. Reality dictates there's going to be some nervy moments. We have a tactic board that we're going to put up. And look, no disrespect to Bermuda, but disrespect to Bermuda. I don't care about Bermuda. What I care about is how Jamaica is going to be deployed. What I care about is the mindset around the players. Now that technology is greater, we have more access to the team. Now that BCN have some insiders and we get some inside information on what's going on, I have to look now at the coach's interaction with the players and his staff through a different lens when I'm watching the game. So it is more than Bermuda versus Jamaica. Part of it is also Jamaica versus Jamaica. And what I mean by that is, with all this passa going on now, who don't want to play, who pulling out, and who doing this, and the reason why, and who getting them first game, and all of this BS that goes on. At the end of the day, Jamaica should dispatch of Bermuda. Easily dispatch of Bermuda. And that is all I want to say. I don't care. I expect 3 goals to be scored by Jamaica. I expect an early goal. That's my early read. Early goal from Jamaica. Expect total dominance because you're just a better team. But I have to look at how the players interact with each other. I have to look at how the coach interact with the players. I have to look at how the bench interact, how the coaches interact with the bench. So there's a lot to look at for us to read into. And, if the man can't qualify for this World Cup, sure.
Head to head, the last time these two teams played, 1992 game drew 1-1. This Bermuda team, coached by Michael Finley, they do recruit heavily out of the UK. But like you said, Junior, I do expect the Reggae Boyz to win this game. I mean, well, you know what? That bottom line, you need to win the game. I mean, at the end of the day, World Cup qualifiers, you win at home and try to get as many points as you can on the road, right? That's the old formula. Here's a chance against the Bermuda team that doesn't have this level of experience as you at this level, right? So it's important to go out and secure the 3 points. Now, with that being said, is there any concern that you're playing against a Bermuda team that essentially playing with house money, nothing to play for? Of course, they wanted to go to World Cup, but they essentially will go in this game as an underdog, right? I mean, and the coach Michael Fenley spoke about this from the Bermuda perspective that this is an exciting time for Bermuda in football, and they're really excited about how far they came, and just looking forward to try to just put the best foot forward.
They just try to sell tickets. That they can go and sell tickets, they can feel good about it. And something that we don't discuss, and with what we're hearing going on in the clubhouse or in the backroom staff and thing, something that we don't discuss is the players that we recruit. There's something to be said about the personality of a player that should be recruited. And what I mean by that is, look at the players that we recruit for Jamaica. How much of them is used to being in a position that Jamaica is in these games? And what I mean by that is, Jamaica is overwhelming favorites against Bermuda. Jamaica is overwhelming favorites in this group. I'm going to say they are overwhelming favorites in this group to come out, right? How many of these players are used to being favorites? And that's a serious question, because if I'm recruiting a player, I mean, say, look, my player have to play at a high level in a club football or Ray. Well, I also need a type of personality. I need a type of playing style. So if I don't care if I have a defender that is playing Premier League football, let me put it this way. If I have a pick of defenders that I would want to play for Jamaica, forget about nationality. If you were to pick a team that will come and represent Jamaica in this World Cup qualifiers versus picking a team that will have to play for Jamaica in Copa America, I would think it's two different teams. And I would think if I'm picking it out of the English Premier League for the World Cup qualifiers in this World Cup qualification round, I would want a defender that is used to having the ball at his feet, is used to playing in a team that has 75% possession, is used to having high moments of trying to keep concentration, because you have very few times you get called into action, because that is my expectation in this game, right? But if I bring in a defender that plays scatterbrain, nervous football, play in a one team that then get bombed on the whole game and they have to do 90 minutes of defending, when you come play for Jamaica and have a wide open pass, I don't know what to do. I'm not used to this. I am not used to having possession of the ball 75% of the time. I think that kind of plays into the problem that Jamaica faces, because we bring in someone who used to playing some scatterbrain football. When you're playing a game that you don't need to play scatterbrain football.
Yeah, you're asking for a different responsibility.
And they're not used to it. If I am used to playing a certain way for 4 weeks, and then me come in now for play against Bermuda, I'm playing against Bermuda where they all sit back and just watch me. I'm not used to playing that style. As primitive as it sounds, I think there's something to that. I really think there's something to that. And I really think that's why teams that recruit heavily don't turn out to crap in these World Cup qualifiers, because World Cup qualifications require a certain type of mindset. Right? So Debari Gray. Will I want to, no, I shouldn't pull Debari Gray. If I have a player that is used to being cuddled and getting the best, do I really want to carry him to Costa Rica in a December? Do I really want to carry a player who used to having his own physio and play? Do I really want to carry him to Honduras or to Curacao, where him sit on the training table and say, I'm waiting to get my ankle taped, and then look at him by who? What you talking about, brother? So I think there's something to that. Maybe it's stupidness we're talking, but I think there's something to that.
No, I mean, I think there's something to it. I mean, at the end of the day, people are not robots, right? People are creatures of habits. And if they're used to doing a certain thing and all of a sudden they're expected to do something differently, it doesn't come naturally to them. What they're used to doing becomes, they revert back to that norm. So, but at any rate, it's for me, regarding this thing on Thursday, we have Friday, we have a watch along Friday, of course. It's just seeing how this team comes out, the level of intensity. We've always worried, at least I've worried that this team plays down a lot of times to the competition. And especially, or maybe it's a situation where other teams that are lower ranked, said, yo, what go on? We get our food if we really kind of force up ourselves against. And, it's just like when we used to play Corner League, when the number one side come out with players, we always want, try to upset them. And so this is something that probably Jamaica, surprisingly, have not really prepared for in some of these games, because they kind of play down to these lower competitions. And I'm looking forward to see a player like Warner Brown, based on just the level of intensity and passion that he displayed in the games that I saw him in. Still concerned about that midfield. But again, and I'm no disrespect to Bermuda, but, I'm not even going to say it. I think you mentioned it the other day. If it's Casey Palmer, whosoever in that midfield, we should be fine. I don't know. And so I'm going into the game on Friday at 6 p.m. our time, optimistic, but just waiting to see what we're going to get out of this ball game. That is my approach. Just a wait and see sort of vibes. Yep. Because we can't leave the Trinidad game. Steve McLaren spoke about, this is the time, this is the intensity. We have to be serious. We have to paraphrase. We have to do, and I think that there's something confusing for me. Like the coach is saying those things, not just like he's speaking to the actual fan base. It's like he might talk to the players them. Well, that's supposed to be something already Ron Kokana and deal with.
Yeah, but if the players not used to that, they're just not used to that. And is that a style them have? Because remember old time Mexico, right? Old time Mexico, regardless of who they play against, they always want to put the game to bed early. And that's how Jamaica should approach a game.
Yeah.
Just approach a game, brother. Watch us score in that first 5 minutes. And if you give it 2 goals in that first, we'll score the 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. We no knocking back and establishing possession and brother, go straight attack the goal. That's what I want to see Friday.
Junior, but maybe there's a cultural thing to some of it, because and I will say this, hear me out. Me and we play a lot of Sunday ball. And we show up when we go play Sunday ball, sometimes like we are just a chill thing. And then once the ball game gets sweet, this is when our intensity starts. This is when we start really up another level. But if we don't feel the vibes, the ball game just dead. And I hate to equate ourselves to professionals. It shouldn't be that way. But I get a sense of that sometimes when we watch Jamaica play. Like the man them, this is why Haka was in the team probably to build our vibes. Javon Watson, because there's something to be said about setting the mood, setting the vibe, so when they walk out, there's a next level of intensity,
Well, you see, for me, to I guess it's been called. So to imitate the retaining Prime Minister of Jamaica, and just to say something that he would say. And every Jamaican a Jamaican. And everybody will wear the Jamaican jerseys Jamaica. So we might play that way. But the player that was showing up don't play that way. They're not familiar with that. Them just look. I think it's official. I don't know if it came out. And BM, I don't know if it is here, but Demari Gray might not be playing Friday, right? That we hear that. There's a possibility that he's pulling out of the squad, right? I think, and we know Liam Bailey not playing because I'm injured. I think we are better off. I think you put some hungry man on the field and want to prove a point, and you go out there and just prove your point. So BM asking, what does Norman Campbell and Trevante Stewart have to do to get a call up? Peter Missick said, did you hear Dwight York interview that he said he track his players, and if they are not playing 90 minutes for the club, he can't ask them to play 90 minutes for Trinidad. That's one of Jamaica's issues. BM confirmed Demari Gray is out. He has a shoulder problem. I said if Jamaica wins these 2 games, it will be by 1 goal. You see, everybody have their metric. Everybody have their metric.
Yeah, it's part and parcel of the thing. But
I think
regarding hunger, what you mentioned, sorry, Junior, just to confirm, and Warner Brown, we advocated heavily for Warner Brown, and finally got valuable minutes against St. Vincent, and so we expected. So if team selection is essential here, right? So now if somehow Steve McLaren decides Friday night to start Mikel Antonio because he's been doing well in training.
Is he in the squad?
Yeah, he was on the sheet unless he pulls out.
The final squad?
All right, let me pull up back the squad, guys.
Go back and look for the final squad, because
call out the final squad while I get it there.
You're about to piss me off all over again. I know what. Maybe he's on there and I was so pissed off that it kind of blank out my memory. Go back to the chat. I could have sworn he's not on the final squad.
Maybe I could be wrong. Let me find it because.
Put up the final squad. So the final squad. Jesus, peace.
Yeah, he's there. Mikel Antonio is right there. It says Mikel Antonio right here. And I think he was asked this. And he said it's I think something about professionalism or something.
All right, so we'd have the tactic board. I wanted to put up like starting 11, predicted 11, and predicted formation. What do you think the formation is going to be? Because we've seen him flirt with a back 3. We've seen him which end up being a 5-3-2 or a 5-4-1 in defense. We've seen him have a back 4. What do you think his formation is going to be?
So, all right. So this is Bermuda, right? You can't go double pivot. You can't go double pivot. You can't go Isaac Hayden and help. I mean, Latibodier is not there, right? against Bermuda. I mean, I say it's straight up 4-3-3. Is what I expect. Damari Gray is out. I straight up 4-3-3. I don't see how. Well, but then he's gonna play John Russell and Isaac Hayden. So John Russell might be an attacking midfielder, and Casey Palmer.
I have a crazy theory. I think we're going to play a 3-4-3. I think Jamaica's going to play
He's going to play a back three?
A back three. And this is the reason why. I think...
wait, you try overload midfield against Bermuda?
Yes.
Why?
And
it's
dominate
Bermuda.
the game. Yes. And playing the back three of Pinnock, Low, and Richard King. And what that does, it gives Low and Richard King the license to run into the midfield and storm the midfield. Now, I think Casey Palmer will not start. I think Isaac Hayden and John Russell will play in the midfield. I won't even call it a pivot. They're just going to play a flat two in the midfield with Damian Lowe or Richard King stepping up in the midfield and tackling.
Yeah, but remember, Damian Lowe is supposed to be not 100%, right?
Yeah, but if Damian Lowe, I think he's going to start. I think he might even captain the side. The front three, I have Warner Brown, Dixon. No, I have Warner Brown. No, I have Dixon, Cephas. Right. So Shamar Nichols is going to get a run.
Yeah, Shamar. Well.
And did Pinnock pull out? Because I think.
So, all right. So we get the updated people who.
No, Pinnock is still there. Let me pull up the
my question, Junior, why do a back three against Bermuda though?
If that, and you see that's why on Friday we'll bring up the tactic board. I think the back three relieves the pressure on the midfield. And I think because honestly, and this might sound disrespectful in a way, but based on recent games, and correct me if I'm wrong, the players who look the most comfortable with the ball at their feet for Jamaica has been the centre backs, has been Lowe, has been Richard King, and that even though Pinnock hasn't played really for a while, but King and Lowe seem comfortable where we even joke that they should be the ones playing in the midfield. So if that's where your best ball players are,
but
you might as well
look. Hayden back now.
Isaac Hayden is still an unproven commodity because we have had watch-alongs where we say, where's Isaac Hayden gone?
Yeah, but again, this is Bermuda.
I know, but you don't want to leave anything to chance.
No,
and having a back three doesn't mean you're being defensive enough. Having a back three means that it doesn't. It just means that it means that you better have some damn good wing play.
Listen,
that's what having a back three means.
I don't think you do a back three. You do back four. You want Greg and Lambagiza to overlap. You start Ethan Pinnock, and it's a toss up between Mason Holgate and Richard King. To complement Pinnock, and start Isaac Hayden at the base. John Russell, he's been known to pop up and score goals. He scored goals against Nigeria, and didn't he score also And I want
The
a World
Gold
Cup
Cup.
qualifier game also.
Yeah, or was it Gold Cup? The Gold Cup.
I don't remember, but his height could be instrumental, especially on the corner kicks where he tends to pop up. I know Ian Frey in that midfield because he's coming back from injury. So Isaac Hayden, John Russell. It's a toss-up, but I probably would have to go to Casey Palmer. This is Casey Palmer level. This is Casey Palmer level. This is Bermuda. He showed the only... All right. So one thing I will say, Bermuda may approach this game from a defensive posture. So this now becomes a problem because if Bermuda parks a bus, then Cephas on the left is not going to get acres of room for a run up and down. If, so... Now, can Cephas beat people off the dribble straight up, man for man?
I don't think Cephas' problem is beating a player off the dribble. I think Cephas' problem is him left eye don't work. So him goes to the end line and him goes to the throw line. I think Cephas thinks he has more space on the wings than he really does. And him always over dribble. Him always beat the guy, but him just can't beat the line. And for some reason, him refuse to pass the ball early. I think if Bermuda approach a game defensively, the game will be, from Jamaica's perspective, it will be in their best interest to move the ball quickly. If we sit down and watch the ball reach Cephas' foot and him stop, look up, and try to beat the defender, Jamaica is not playing well. But if they can move the ball quickly, I would think Jamaica will find joy.
Yeah, but we know Jamaica doesn't move the ball, and this graphic is courtesy of MG, Bomb Sports, and I don't know who are them other people over there. I just found this, so one shout out to those you Bomb Sports on YouTube and MG on YouTube. But Jamaica does have a problem with moving the ball quickly, and especially in this CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers against teams that may take on a defensive posture. You're gonna have to move the ball.
Well, Damari Gray and Liam Bailey, who normally are the black holes of the team, they're not playing.
And then in the time, because the players by and large probably arrive Monday to today and then subsequently get on a plane figure. This moving ball tactics, it has to be conversation that have occurred already.
Yeah, but then do they trust the system? And do they trust each other? And do they, because you have to fight against that, because you're playing against inferior competition. It is what it is. It is what it is. So every time you get the ball, you feel like I can beat this man that is in front of me. And that's one of the worst things that can happen to you as a footballer. Because if you feel like you can go this alone, you're going to keep trying. And you're going to keep trying. And the worst thing that could ever happen from a Jamaica perspective is that the first time the player tried, it works. He does score, but you end up beating the man. Then he's not going to stop trying. Because we see that with Cephas a couple of times. Just because you do one little fandango move and it works, you just all of a sudden just start doing the same thing over again and killing the momentum. So that's what I'm saying. I think this game is going to be more about Jamaica versus Jamaica than Bermuda versus Jamaica.
So when Bermuda defeated Cuba in the last round of qualifiers, in the previous round in Cuba, and they employed, based on this formation, 4-1-4-1 with Clement sitting at the base, and then Tucker and Martin dropping to help. They do tend to make an extensive amount of subs, so it's almost like this defensive work and then roll out the next set of players. Of course, you make 5 subs, but again, Bermuda is, the coach Michael Finley spoke at length about the achievement of this group. This is uncharted territory for Bermuda football. And so they also have aspirations of trying to make it to World Cup 2026. So one of the players, I don't remember his name, he did an interview with FIFA website, and is it Clemens? And Clemens said, yo, if Bermuda somehow makes it to the World Cup, the entire Bermuda population will be at the games. So this is how much the intensity and the fanfare that's bubbling about this team down in Bermuda. So Reggae Boyz cannot rest on their laurels Friday evening.
Yeah, I agree. Get there, put it to bed early. The worst thing they can do is let Bermuda feel like they're in a game.
Peter Mystic says it's Pinnock there.
I'm checking. He's there. He's not on the list of players that reportedly are pulling up. I try to find a message.
Yeah, so we received a list of players that were absent, and I didn't remember seeing his name jump out.
Yeah.
So I would have to go back.
Yes, his name is not on the list.
We
were asked not to share, so
I have to go back.
But his name is not on that list.
Yeah. So, what's along Friday night, brother? Yeah, run some tunes before the match.
Well, 6 o'clock. Watch along it early. But yeah, one.
Oh yeah, it's 6 p.m. Friday. The game is at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're gonna be rushing home from work or wherever to turn on the machine so we can kick this thing off. World Cup Qualifier 2026. This is it, family. This is it. I mean, this is when the business end of the thing starts. We don't know long talking. Just win the ball game.
Just take care of your business. Have some pride and take care of your business. It's not that hard. We're not asking too much. Are we asking for too much?
No, I just win the ball game. I don't know. I'm looking forward to see Warner Brown. No. BM says the Caribbean derby will be massive. Also, it's gonna be very interesting to keep a close eye on the other group matches. Or the other group match. This Curacao versus Trinidad and Tobago game, which kicks off later that evening. So that is gonna be an interesting game because there's a lot of questions about whether Curacao is ready, and Curacao seems to be ready by all indications, but they will have to show us that they are ready. Trinidad and Tobago takes on Curacao at 8 p.m. after the Jamaica versus Bermuda game.
If not now, when?
If not now, when? If not now, when? This is it, family. Time for go, man. We are now 10:40 p.m. Those of you who join us late, you miss an excellent show. We had NFL insider Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports on to discuss NFL. NFL kicks off tomorrow and this coming weekend. Marcus will be joining us, occasionally to give us a recap of the week that was, or the weekend was in the NFL. We discuss transfer news, deep dive on the Alexander Isak and Mark Guehi's Alexander Isak transfer and Mark Guehi's collapse move, Rodrigo situation. And we also discuss Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi and the Inter Miami family still sulking over that defeat. CPL cricket, St Lucia Kings defeated Trinbago Knight Riders. And, Junior, also another thing we need to mention, World Track and Field Championship kicks off next week, the 13th. So BCN Sports will be doing some watch along and some live updates on that upcoming championship. Looking forward to that. Anything else, family, before we get ready for take ourselves?
Get ready for Friday. We're just getting ready for Friday. Let's get ready for Friday. Let's go.
So you teleworking Friday?
I telework every day, sir.
I think I can, you know. But I think I might be feeling a little bit cough. I'm not getting over the sickness, so I might be teleworking to protect my colleagues.
Yeah, we're there a power eyelash, man.
Yeah. Friday, we will give a deep dive on CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers as we do the watch along and update the other games and the other groups and so forth. This is it, family. I hate that, you know. Time for go my way out.
Ready again Friday. Lucky in. Watch along. We're ready.
Connect with us on Instagram at Ball Chat Podcast or BCN Sports. We're on Blue Sky at Ball Chat Podcast and BCN Sports. We're on Facebook, Ball Chat. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out at I Am Jamaica Facebook group. Big up to all the people over at I Am Jamaica Facebook group tuning in for what? Election coverage. That going over there, sir? Yo!
Yeah, come in to know why our Facebook is unable to connect. Them are born me out.
Me don't know.
Yeah, let me check it.
Me don't know. Yo, why that you know? I haven't had dinner yet, alright? It's time for go eat some food.
Twice, shower.